Hello, Brick Sculptors. Welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and we are getting ready to finish up our industrial building converted into a brew pub, and it is time for part two. Here we go. I showed this building yesterday. If you didn't see that video, I highly recommend you watch that first. I'll link it here as well as at the end of the video because that shows the first two floors, and today we're going to tackle the second two floors. So inside here, we've got our brewery in place on the bottom two floors. Again, if you want to see that video, I've got it linked at the end. And today we're going to work on our bar and our artist loft. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, here we go. So first thing we got to do, this is where our staircase is going to come up. So we have to put our railings in. On the one side, I just have two spyglass pieces with a brown tile. That's going to go right here. If you didn't see before, I apologize. That was a Easter egg dying incident. So, yeah, that's why my fingers are green. No, this is not the next day. I filmed these in the same day. So trust me, I do bathe. Okay, here's the other side of our railing here. We have the corner right there. And the rest of the railing here. There we go. That looks good. All right. I did put a mirror here on the wall. Up above, I've just got some lights there. I plugged into a 1x5 with rounded edges. I did put a gem in the middle for decoration. I don't know, kind of ugly, but kind of gaudy and bar-like. This is supposed to look a little bit like a kind of dated bar in this older building, and I think I did a pretty good job. Up on the wall here, we're going to have some of these hop samples. I did some of those in the basement as well, but something to show off for the patrons of the bar. And here we have some barley or oats or wheat or whatever else they're using to brew up there. And over here is going to be our bar. I like to build up a stage behind my bar just so the bartender can like look a little higher, a little taller, and then the stools work better too. This is the bar I built. And we've just got some decorative pieces on the front here. Lots of stuff going on the top. I like to make tap handles out of these clip pieces in all different colors to indicate the different beers that they're selling. And I had a little menu here, a couple beverages, and we're just going to plug that in right here. There we go. Back here we need our copious selection of alcohol. And that looks like this. I do have a couple of orange slices that are going to go in there, but until I put it up against the wall, I can't put them in. Lots of different bottles there. You may recognize some of your favorites. These are all just made stacking different combinations of transparent and regular plates in round or in square, and they turn out pretty cool. I got kind of my whiskeys over here, my tequilas, my gin, and my vodka there. And this is just going to go right down here behind the bar. Got to get my orange slices in there. See, grab my tweezers here. These are always tricky to put in, but once you get them in there just right, they stay and they look good. I want them to look just like the limes do there. All right, up top here, I'm going to have some glassware. Got a couple of these look like awards, and then just a whole line of short glasses and tall glasses. We're just going to stick that up here as extra glassware. There we go. And then I've put these mounts on the walls here for curtains. I just want to do some real short curtains here, kind of industrial looking with these pipes and snot bricks, and those are just going to stick right to the wall. Like that. Straighten them out a little bit. There we go. One more right here. That looks good. And then I have two individual ones here for the corner. And those are just going to kind of meet up in the middle. There we go. All right, coming along nicely. Let's put some seating in. So I've got some of these benches. I wanted to add a couple booths in. So I'm going to have one right over here. I'm going to put one more right there. And then stools. One of the stools I have studs on top because I'm going to put a person on it. And the other two are just going to be flat. They will be empty. Okay. Couple of tables here with just various things sprinkled on them. There we go. Then let's go ahead and add our guests. I got this lady here. These were all from that new Lego day I did where I got all the minifig parts. She's going to sit right there. This guy's going to be all alone over here at this table, sipping his whiskey or whatever. And then I got a couple here that are just going to be at this table. Perfect. And then behind the bar, we have our bartender here. He's going to stick right there. And that completes our bar. All right. Now next up, the artist loft. Let's go ahead and take the top off here. Now, I want to say something. I've done a lot of Lego interiors, and this one is probably my favorite I've ever done. I think this is probably my best work so far. So get excited. This one's going to be cool. All right, so the idea here was I wanted to have a lot of art stuff going on in a very, very, very small apartment where these folks live right in their workspace. And I did put a very small bathroom back here. I already furnished that because I didn't want to have to reach in there. So I had a toilet, and I have a really small shower in there. But it does fit a minifig, and that is their bathroom. We're going to leave the door kind of halfway like that when we're done so you can see in there. Okay, let's go ahead and build out their apartment, and then we'll work on the studio. First thing for the apartment, we're going to make a tiny little kitchenette. That's going to consist of an oven with a stove right here, a little sink right there. Up on the wall, I'm going to add this cabinet with a couple of utensils on it, just like that. I've got this wall decoration there. I want to put some little trinkets up on the shelf here. This is going to be over their bed. Yes, this is there. It's going to be a couple living here, 2 artists, and they're going to do 2 different types of art. It's going to be cool. So we're just going to line some things up here, little personal effects. There we go. Next to the sink, I'm going to have a nightstand with a lamp on it, a bed, some wooden legs. That'll go right here. And then over on this side, I am going to have a dresser just with some stuff on top. And this will back up to a shelf. But that is going to be their tiny little apartment right there. Okay, so now we got the small apartment done. And look at that, like magic, the green is gone. Why is that? Well, because the second half didn't film. So I'm refilming it because it did 10 minutes of filming with the camera off. So it's the next day because I got tired. Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. Just to you guys, it all looks the same, right? Anyway, we need to go ahead and put in the artist studio here. We're going to have some ceramics going on over here, painting over in this corner. First thing we need is this shelf here with freshly thrown ceramics on it. That's going to go right back in this corner very carefully. It's a little bit fragile. There we go. And that will kind of be the dividing line too between the apartment and the studio. In the back here, I want a couple of cabinets, kind of a workbench. So I've just got these headlight bricks and jumper plates with some random items on top. I wanted to mix up the furniture. I wanted everything to kind of not match, like things were just kind of picked off the street and thrown up here and, you know, used to serve a purpose in holding these items more so than look nice. It's all about function here. On this wall, I want finished ceramics. So on the bottom, I have this. This sand blue bowl is not Lego. It isn't alt brick. That's a Go brick. But I thought it looked really good, so I wanted to include it. And we're just going to stack some extra bowls in here. I got my tweezers if I need them. These stack pretty nicely. Once they're in, they do stay in place pretty well. But it can be a little tight getting them in there. There we go. On the top shelf, I've got some bottles. These are all alt bricks. Lego does not make this in anything but trans clear green, and trans clear, smoke, dark brown, black, whatever. So yeah, those are alt bricks. I thought they looked really cool and I wanted to include them. So I did use some alt bricks in this build, just to add some detail because I already had them from a previous video. All right, over here is going to be kind of the paint studio side. Now, I know a professional artist probably wouldn't have a bunch of primary colors lined up, but, you know, this is Lego, and I wanted to kind of give the, you got to play into that childhoodness of it a little bit, right? So we got that over there in the corner. I'm going to put this in first because this is really difficult to put in afterwards. So up top here, I've just got a string where I've got a bunch of paintings strung across. And these are going to be just kind of the works of art up here. This is always a really tricky one to get in. There we go. So we got all our paintings up there in the corner. And then over on this wall, I'm going to have a supply shelf, just like this, with all the art supplies. Random stuff up top. I got some colored jars of paint here, canvases, jugs and sacks, all kinds of cool stuff. That's just going to go right up against this wall here and finish out kind of the perimeter of the room. All right, moving inward. First, we need a pottery wheel. So here we go. That's going to go right there. And then here we have our male fig, who's going to be right here working at that pottery wheel. We're also going to need a kiln. So I built this kiln here. It's got a lid on top, a gauge on the front, and then a gas line. That's going to stick to the floor right here. And then this gas line is just going to wrap around and mount to the floor as if to be coming up from the floor. This is always a bit fragile. Once it's in there, it works pretty good, but it takes a little bit to hook it up. There we go. There's our kiln. Over in this corner, we're going to have our art easel. I'm really proud of this. This was really fun to build, and it came out just great. Look at that. It's just going to stick on the back here and then lean back on that a little bit. So we're going to stick that back here on this little jumper. All right, and then next to the easel here, I wanted to put some more supplies. So I've got a couple of paints, a brush, maybe a little rag there. That's just going to stick right next to the easel here. Perfect. Our painter, there she is. Right in there working. And then in front here, we got a few more details to add. I wanted to add a table with some works of art on there, maybe prepared to sell. Maybe they're copies of lithographs, whatever. We're just going to put those there. Maybe they're waiting for finish work. I got another stool I'm going to pop right in here. And then I wanted to scatter some boxes around. So I got some cardboard boxes. Just put those right in front of this table. One more I can stick right down here. Then over on the other side here, I wanted to put some clay. Now, I did a bit of clay work in high school, and clay always came in a box and in a bag within a box. So we got these bags here. These are also alt bricks. They don't make this bag in dark tan in Lego, but they do in Go Bricks. And there we go. Check that out. I am so proud of how this one came out. I think this is absolutely excellent and some of my better work for sure. And last step, of course, we got to put this amazing roof on here, which just lets so much light in and just adds all that detail. I love, look at that roof. Oh, that's so cool. So cool. All right, let's go ahead and stack it up here, and then I'll give you a view of the final entire building. All right, there it is fully stacked. So let me get you a quick close-up here of all the different rooms. All right, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I hope you guys like this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and do more just like this in the future. That's about all I've got for this build, and we're going to be moving on. I'm really trying to finish this city up, so I apologize there hasn't been a lot of technique stuff or other items because I'm really trying to hustle and get this city built for this show. So that's all I have for this time, and we will see you next time.